Hi everybody and welcome to another Fastify video. Today we will be looking into how to build a Fastify API where we can upload different files and retrieve them afterwards. So to start off, we need to instantiate our project at first. As you can see on the screen right now, I got some basics going here. And if you don't know how to start off a project, I can just refer you to one of my other videos where I teach you how to get started basically with Typescript and Fastify. As you can see here, I have some files. We need to start off with the API here. We gotta build some endpoints, which needs to be in the different folders we are going to create. So here I'm gonna start off with adding the actual uploads folder. We will save new files coming into this folder. This can be orchestrated in different ways. I'll just keep it simple. Right now here I'll start off with the controller folder. I will organize all controllers in here, and I'll add the routes folder here as well. So um, let's start off with building a controller, and this will contain the code where you'll see where the request will come in, and we will get the file and we will then save it to the system. So right here we'll build a function which we want to export. It'll have a couple of parameters, um, which will be a request and a response. Actually, here I see I've built in now the function in the index file, which will only contain the API. So I'm going to move all the code here to the file controller. So these errors, we want to get rid of those, which we can do by changing the tsconfig file here. I need to set it up like I'm used to. So these are my settings basically. If you want to see them specifically, you can create your own however you want. It doesn't really matter too much for the code. So coming back here to the controller, you can see there is no longer an error on the export. We do still have a couple of errors here in our Fastify references, but we can import here the correct. Let me fix this real quick. I'm gonna remove this. Then we should be able to see the Fastify types. And these can also be combined to a single sentence actually by just referring to the Fastify, not a specific file inside the Fastify project. Cool. Alright, here we got the controller file with the method without any errors, and we will start off by creating a variable that will get the data, which is basically the file from the request that the client has sent us. So at first here you can see the file is red, and to fix this we need to make sure to install the necessary plugins for our Fastify project, or else we have to do our own file method overloads, adding in on top of the request, so the Fastify framework can see that it exists. So right here in the command line, I am adding now the Fastify plugin, which is the multipart. It's Fastify slash multipart, and afterwards we're going to add another one, which is the static. Um, and now we will go ahead and install these. So it's still red right here, but if I go to routes and create my route, I can then install the plugin specifically on this route. Just add another file here. I said as a TypeScript. So right here in the file routes, I want to add um, the method we will call from our index file. So right here, this is the route. It will describe the controllers we want to support here, and we will install all the plugins. So here I'm starting off with the plugins. You see the multipart has been added, and we will here add the static, which will have some parameters here, or some properties to be set. Um, right here we have the prefix. I believe it will add actually static files, which you can it will create routes for all your files within the uploads folder that we register in a bit. So we can test that later on maybe, how to retrieve them without a specific control endpoint, but by just referring to them statically. Um, so here we need to create the constant of where our uploads directory is. And as you saw before, it's the directory uploads in the project here. Remember to import the path so we can refer to it. I'll do the process.cwd, which will get I believe the absolute path, and then we'll append the uploads afterwards. Then here we drop in the entire path to the root property, and then now we can actually register some endpoints. Here I register the post endpoint, which will be on the dash slash upload, and then I'll add in the upload file controller. So when this is done, we should be able to see in our controller that file actually exists now, the method, and that was because we added in the plugin. So from here we can now continue, and let's cover some edge cases where there is no file on the request. So if there's no data here, you can see that I can just respond with the response status 400, and I'll add in a body that will be JSONified for the client. So I'll just add an OK false message, no file uploaded. Yeah. Okay, and now we can work with the file because we know we have found the data. So right here I'm gonna get the file name, and I want to refer to it. No, I want to grab the file name from the the request file. So using the path.basename, I can then call that function and put in the data.file name. And from here we can then do another constant variable, which will be the file path where we want to save it. We can then join in two directories basically. So we do have the uploads folder as we talked about before. We can reference the other variable, or we can just copy it. So we have the exact same constant here in this file. So by adding in here the uploads directory and then the file name, it will join these two together. So we have a new file path where we can save the file. I'll now use the pipeline, which will help us manage the writer stream for creating this file on our system. This is done by calling it with the data.file, which is the actual file, and then we have the um, fstat.create write stream. You need to. Oh, it's a file system. Yeah. We will add the file system, and it's done by importing it, just like a lot the other ones. Simply like this. And I see you do have an error here. We're not done, I believe. So here I'll drop in the file path when calling the create write stream, and we still have the pipeline that has an error, but I'll fix that later. Let's just continue working on the return response status of 201, and we will send back a body of OK true and message file successfully uploaded. Um, and then I'll add in the file name that we received. So here we need to. I just found the issue here. The issue is that we are importing it directly from stream. You can just do stream promises, and then it'll resolve itself. Um, so from here we can actually. So now we actually have the control endpoint. It's registered. We have the connection between the controller and the route, but the route is not yet added to the index. So we actually need to start our API, which we haven't done just yet. Um, so to do this, we need to just create a new variable. It's the application variable here, and we'll do it by instantiating with the Fastify type here. It's a method call, so we can just add on some parameters as well. It's a logger. That should be true, so we can see what it's saying to us, if there's any errors or not. And then we can do a new method here, just calling it start. And what it'll do is we can add in a lot of async methods to be called, and then we can just call it afterwards. We cannot do asynchronous calls on the very top level, so we'll wrap it inside this method. And here I'll just register the file routes that we need, and then we'll start listening on a specific port for our application, and that'll basically start up the application for us. If you're hosting this on Docker, I could recommend you writing in here a host, which will not be localhost, but just 0.0.0.0. It'll help you if you have some kind of trouble starting up. All right, remember to call it first at the end here, the start method, and then we should be good to go. So now we have the API up and running, and now we want to test the routes we have, whether they work or not. So for me, I'm using REST client to create these request files in my project here. So I'll just name it whatever with like request.http, and then we can write down some requests in here, and we can execute them from within the project. You can also use different applications such as Postman, Bruno, whatever you like. But here we will cover the REST client example here. So whenever you would go in here, you'll just design your requests with the request type, the domain, port, path. We will add some headers and the body we want to be posting as the file. So now we are ready to kick off this request to our server, and we immediately get this error, which seems to be an issue with the path to our uploads folder. It's probably going to, it's trying to save our file, but I see the uploads folder here has a spelling error. Yeah. So we need to drop in an extra S here to make it work. So now we should be able to run this again and successfully. We got the test file right here. We have the yeah, in the directory, and that's perfect for our endpoint. So now we can continue to the next part of how to retrieve the file. So now let's go to our file folder, file controller, and let's add another endpoint here for getting our files. I'm gonna call this the download folder, and then we're going to clear some window here and probably delete the entire thing. If we don't need to yeah, let's just remove it all. And I'm going to go ahead and add in some parameter here for my request, which will be the file name and of the type of string, of course. So with that being said, let's go ahead and add the two lines here from the uploads endpoint and change it up a little bit, because here we're going to use the new file name from the request yeah, request parameter file name, and this will grab us the file name so we can use it to get the path from where it will sit in our file path on the directory, of course. And then we're going to change, or we're going to look up the actual file here and make sure if it exists. If it doesn't exist, it will go into this return, I'm sorry, the if statement, and return the error basically here. I'll just change up the error code here and the message. Cool. Then for on a successful node, we can just return the response with this method that is coming from the multipart no wait static, I believe, plugin that we installed earlier, and I'll just put in the file name right here. So perfect. That will make sure to deliver the file to our clients. So from here we can now register our control endpoint to the router, and to do this we'll just refer to the application, use the get method, and add the endpoint path, which will be the download, and here we will add in a variable which we will read from the path of the request. So the file name will be after the download section. Afterwards here, put in the import from the controller, and then we can add in the generic type here. So we're going to tell through these types that the file name will be a string, just like we did in the controller. So now we will restart the server and then hop into the request.http file to add another test request. And I'll just copy this and put in the file name that we have in our uploads directory right now. And I'll add in the comment here. We should be able to click it. Here we go. All right. So here we go. It's failing. Oh, it's the uploads folder. We need to, endpoint. We need to refer to the correct endpoint. And here we go. We have the file. So now we only have one endpoint left to put in. We want to add in the delete type here. So we want to remove our file from the server, and to do this we're going to add in a duplicate line here, just and put in the delete type and then the correct control endpoint, which we don't have just yet. So we will fix one here right real quick. It's basically the same as the download because we have the file name we want to delete, and let's refer to it here. We need still to refer to the file name with the folder, which seems to be fine. It exists, that's pretty cool as well. But then let's do something here to delete the file. The file system unlink here basically means that we remove all its links, and I mean this link, and if there is no more links left, it'll delete the file itself. So this is basically the delete method. So here at the very end, let's just add in the another response here, just a JSON object. Let's copy this and change it a little bit here. The file deleted successfully, and afterwards let's go ahead and restart the server, and let's add in the new requests. I'll copy this and put in the delete, and here we should be able to see that it's been deleted. The OK says false. We can change that pretty quickly. But this basically wraps up this tutorial on how to create these files through the code, grabbing them from the requests and delivering them from the directory. You could add a lot of stuff extra if you'd like authentication and preventing users from uploading, let's say, scripts that could be dangerous. You could add a lot of different middleware to prevent any kind of harmful or throttling of the server or whatever. All of that would be more fit for another tutorial. I'll wrap this one up here. So thanks everybody for watching, and please like and subscribe, comment, and yeah, peace.